Today we are going to attempt to remove the insulation from this 95 town car and replace it. Now the trick here is there's two tricks. One, these plastic pins or whatever you call these, trying to pull them out and be able to reuse them. I know that those are still available today, but still it's nice if you can reuse them. Secondly, the trick is going to be, I bought a stock replacement piece that we are going to have to cut to size. That may not be fun, but we're going to attempt it. And the reason why I'm replacing this is this car is in really fine condition, but we had an instance a couple of years ago of a couple mice got under here and just chewed on the insulation, and details are everything, right? So you open it, it kind of makes it not look as nice. So we want to replace it, and that's what we're going to work on today. So the first thing we're going to do is I got a I don't know if this thing's going to fall apart when we do this. So what I wanted to do, let's make sure the engine's not too hot. What I wanted to do is cover the engine itself with a sheet. You can do a tarp would be the best, but I don't really have one right now. And just cover this so I'm not creating more of a mess for myself. Like that. Okay, next we are going to attempt to pull these out, and I haven't done this in years, so I don't know if these are going to cooperate or not. That one broke. That one looks like it broke too. Broke. Yours break? Yeah. Yeah. So I know there's a hardware down the store, I'm pretty sure has these. Down the street, I should say. When I did this before, years and years ago on another vehicle, I was able to reuse all those. Also have to remember these pieces are 29 years old. Okay, so I think we have them all, right? Okay, get that. Oh, one more. Oh, there's two more, right? Did I get that one? This slides out like that. Okay, so that was the easy part. The next part could be the disaster part, so stay tuned and we will get the new piece. Okay, so we have the old piece off. You see it laying there, and it really wasn't too messy. We just opened the replacement piece that we will have to trim the size. And because this is a large car, I wanted to be sure that we had a piece long enough. So we clearly do. Now the trick is going to be, and this is where my artistic skills aren't the greatest, we're going to have to somehow basically cut this piece out of this stock piece here, and that will be the next step in this process. The other step will be is we have to run down to the hardware store because I believe they have replacement fasteners. Okay, so what we have done is we brought the pieces of insulation from the vehicle into the garage. We had to make a table big enough, so basically 2 sawhorses with some wood, and then an impromptu garbage can with a small step ladder laying on its side and another piece of wood over top to extend our makeshift table. We were trying to determine this stock piece of insulation that we have, or uncut, which side should be up in the hood versus facing the motor. And we were trying to use the factory piece as a guide, and it seemed like the hard part was facing or touching the hood, the underneath of the hood, and the softer part was out. So we thought initially we would match that, but after further kind of looking at this, it seems like it would, it's very insulation-y, if that's a word, and it seems like it would kind of potentially come apart more easily. So we're gonna flip it now. I haven't used a piece of stock insulation before, so I don't know if people are gonna scream at me for doing it that way or not, but if it even matters. However, when I had done this years ago in a different vehicle, the vehicle was still new enough where I could just order this from the factory and it would come and you just pop it in and you're done, where they no longer make this. And I'm sure if you find a vehicle somewhere in the junkyard or wherever, these are all trashed anyway. When I bought the vehicle, it was in perfect condition, and it got chewed up by some mice. And thankfully the mice didn't chew up anything else in the car, or I would probably have an aneurysm. So I got a set of good scissors here, and I did a little test cut in the corner to see how easy this is to cut. So I am going to attempt to cut this out, and I'm going to do the best I can, and that's all I can hope for. Hopefully the best I can will be a little bit better than how this looked previously. The only thing I am going to struggle with is, and we have to come up with a solution, is the holes for where the fasteners go. Now, I'm wondering, because this insulation seems very forgiving in a sense that, like, it's not very hard like the factory piece, that I'm wondering if I could just line it up and just push it through where the hole is. The problem is, without these holes here, you're kind of going blind. And because it's black, if I had maybe even a red marker, I could actually dot where these are, and then when we go to put it back into the hood, under the hood, we can just push the fasteners through. And then lastly, there's a rectangular cutout, not sure if it's visible in camera, where the under hood lamp pokes through. I don't think that will be a big deal. I think I could probably use an X-Acto knife to cut that out. So here we go. We're gonna work on this. And it's taken me a year to do this. I bought this a year ago. And I find anything like this, you just gotta be patient. You gotta be very patient. And I understand that this may not come out as the factory, but this car is a hobby, and it's kind of like some things like this are just a project, so this is how you learn. And this is cutting actually very easily. think I already made a mistake. I did make a mistake. No wonder it was cutting easily. I wasn't going all the way through. That's okay. It's like a trace line. I can go back and fix it. And I'm just going to go all the way to the end. Yeah, see, I knew I wasn't totally going through. Alright. You can scrap piece. You use a scrap piece to insulate your dresser drawers. There's a crafting idea for you. Again, it's just all about patience. You know, you want to sometimes just get these projects done, but you have to be patient. So I'm going to go back and cut this so I can slide the whole thing over. I'm just glad that the factory piece didn't crumble off into like a bunch of pieces. That was my biggest fear, that when we would pull it down because it's so old, that it would just break off into pieces, and then I would be piecing it back together to try to have something to trace. That, I think I would have been not as happy. So there's some jagged edges here that I'll fix when we're kind of done. So now, I think I'm going to come across this side. I'm not looking forward to, so there's some kind of like curves here. The parts I've done so far are for the most part straight. Well, straight until I cut through them, then they're crooked, but. I'm sure when these were made in the factory or wherever, the asbestos plant, hopefully it's not asbestos, they probably were just run right down an assembly line of the machine, just banging these things out. There wasn't some dude cutting them by hand. Somewhere here. So we kind of have the final area to do before I have to try to figure out how to cut the fastener holes or mark them, and then the opening for the light, which I think an X-Acto knife might work. Because originally I thought this, before I even opened the box, you know, I knew with the factory one, like the material, and I thought, might be tough to cut if it's brand new. But then realizing how very much this is just like easy insulation to work with, or to cut anyway, that this may be a little easier than I thought. Sometimes with projects, it's good to anticipate they're gonna be hard, and then you kind of sometimes get pleasantly surprised. The worst is when you start a project, you're like, oh, this should take an hour or so, and then like 8 hours later, you're still trying to figure out what went wrong. I need an X-Acto knife for that, I think. So, as I talked about why I'm doing this, because the mice chewed this thing up, I should say, what I've learned is, very quickly, is that if you have like dryer sheets or Irish Spring bar soap, it allegedly, they don't like it. So I keep, especially in the winter time, I keep dryer sheets in the car. You just buy a box, they're cheap, and you just open a box and your car smells like fresh laundry, or Irish Spring, it smells like a fresh shower. And with my other vehicles, I've done this. Knock on wood, I have not had an issue. Okay, so I just need, do we have an X-Acto knife handy? I had it. I'm unprepared for the camera. Just used it to open the box, which might be down the driveway with the box. That being said, I have an old-fashioned box cutter, and because this box cutter is probably dull, but it may work for this. All right, actually, I'll take that wood. I'll take that. Oh, perfect. I'll take them both. Thank you. Just want to clean that up. Okay. So we're going to attempt to cut this rectangle out first. All right, so we have an orange-ish sharp. I don't know if this is gonna work. also have an idea too. We'll do this. And I got an idea that might work. Sometimes when you get a little older, you have some experiences with coming up with stuff or figuring out stuff like this, and you have a couple of ideas that may make your life a little easier. All right. I'm not trying to cut the hole out. All I'm trying to do is mark the hole. So when we're back at the car, we can just hopefully punch these in. So there's 11, which is an odd number, but I can see where the oddity is. Yeah, there's this 3 across. Okay, next step, not that I have steps that I'm following because I do this all the time, but what's logical to me is we pull this off, and I don't want to trash this quite yet. And what I want to do is take the X-Acto knife and just clean up my work as best I can without cutting my hand off. Of course, the old one got I can see the puncture marks. That's cool. And I can see some of the marker. All right. Let's go over here because this part's on the table. That looks pretty good. Okay. Okay, not bad. All right, so this is X-Acto knife. I lost the cap to it, so it can be dangerous. All right, so I'll sweep the garage out when we're done. We just replicated the insulation pad for a 95 town car with nothing more than a pair of household scissors, box cutter, a marker, and an X-Acto knife, and a little patience. And I'm not artistic at all, but I think this came out okay, if I do say so myself. All right, so the next step is the obvious one, is we need to run to the hardware store to get replacement clips, and then we'll come back on and we'll move all this down to the vehicle and patiently attempt to put it back up. Okay, now that we've finished tracing and cutting out the new piece, came out pretty good. We ran to the store to pick up additional fasteners. However, we need 11 and the hardware store only had 6. And they basically are called automobile panel fasteners, and they've only had 6. We have 1 or 2 that still look like they're intact from the original, but what we might do is just make do with what we have until we can get our hands on some more, making use of the old ones. So now we're going to put this in position, and this is where a second set of hands will probably have to come in handy. So what we'll need to do is we'll have to get it under there. So you want to line up your side. You want to get your side? Try to.
No, I think it's this one.
Oh. Like this.
Yes.
Oh, I see. That's why you have 2 people. Let's do the light first. Because then everything else kind of falls into place. Well, maybe not, we won't do that part first. Maybe we'll just snap in a few of these. You know? Yeah. Give me 2, and then you take 2. Or just put them in the middle so we can both reach them. Okay. You want to grab your side? Let's start with the top. Did it break?
Yep.
Is that a new one?
Yep.
All right. Let me see. So where that orange marker we used earlier and made a little slit with that X-Acto knife, that seems to be working out. So when you press these back in, you kind of have to be gentle. So I think now we're down to what we have had left over. Before you do that bottom one, we might need to slip it in those kind of like clips, or not clips, but slots. All right, so we're just down to these used ones. Oh, Okay, here we go. So I think what we're learning is, I'm just afraid to pull this out. That's kind of the trick, to do the interior ones like that, I think. Probably in the middle. Yeah. Is it just make sure you find the hole before you push really hard. Okay, you want me to? Because what I did before, you probably saw what I. This one's not gonna stand because it's broken. You got another one to try. They're all broken. Let me try a broken one. No. So really we just need just one more, right? Or
Yep.
no, we need them back here too. That's
Three more.
Three more. And then it's finished. What I don't like is hopefully that doesn't start to separate over time. We'll have to keep an eye on that. This all lines up pretty nice. Okay. Yeah, let's see. I don't think any of these old ones left are going to work for what we need to do. Yeah, there's nothing there to bite into. So, this is as far as we can take this project. I think this is not going anywhere. This is as far as we can take it until we get additional fasteners and we can replace some of that's an old one. We can replace some of the old ones. Actually, if the old ones that we're using, I think, are intact. Yeah, that's a new one. Yeah, the new ones you can tell right away which ones are the new ones. Yeah, so we need another one there. Another one there. And another one here. So what, three more? We need three more at least. So what we'll do is call it a wrap on this project, and we will secure three more. We'll maybe hit another hardware store today on our way out, and then project complete. So if you ever want to do this on your own, it's not that difficult. Just a little patience, some scissors, and I forget the name of the company that I ordered this from, because I ordered this from about a year ago. I ordered it a year ago, and maybe if I still have the receipt in my pocket or the invoice, I can tell you. It came from Detroit Muscle Technologies. Mopar AMC Restoration Gaskets and Gasket Sets. Detroit Muscle Technologies LLC. Yeah, I know Mopar is Chrysler, aftermarket, I believe. But really what we had here is, you can see if you want the information, this was inexpensive, $42, but it cost $20 for shipping. So like half the price was for shipping. Universal 1/2-inch black matte faced hood insulation. And that was the size, and you saw that worked well for what we were doing. So it doesn't come with fasteners, so you will need fasteners, but these are easy to find. Just obviously you need them to complete the job. And thanks for watching. Make sure if you have any questions or suggestions, comment, like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.